All right, let's head back to Washington now because House Republicans have released what's being called a bombshell new report on rising health care costs. The House committee points to several of President Obama's corporate advisors as admitting that the law would spike the cost of coverage. The White House dismisses this document as a, quote, partisan report. So let's find out what's going on here from their side. There's Congressman Joe Barton. He is one of the Republicans on the House Energy and Commerce Committee responsible for this report. Congressman, welcome. Good morning. Good to have you here.
Glad to be on your program.
So who weighed in on this? Which corporate advisors, as it has been put there, weighed in on it, and what did they say?
Well, this is the competitive council that President Obama appointed. It's got 27 corporations, companies like Kodak, Xerox, Comcast, Southwest Airlines, General Electric. So these are kind of mainstream U.S. corporations, and they have looked at the Obama health care law and come up with the obvious conclusion that it's going to raise health care costs and cost a lot more money, not just to corporate America, but to average Americans who have to pay for the new mandates out of their own pocket.
And they're saying that that would come from higher taxes, that it would come from fees and bureaucratic burdens, according to this report that is entitled Higher Costs, More Confusion, and Less Coverage. But the other side, the White House basically says that this is a partisan report, as I mentioned in the intro. They say that it's misleading, inaccurate, and contradictory, and that Democrats have come up with their own list of companies who say that they think it will indeed lower their costs.
Well, you know, facts are facts. You can interpret them different ways. But here's two facts. There is an individual mandate. Every American has to have health insurance. So you're going to cover a lot more Americans, and that's going to cost more, number one. Number two, corporate America, which generally provides health care for their employees, have more mandates in what they have to cover. There is a standard of coverage that is going up. So if you cover more people and the standard of coverage goes up, it's going to cost more.
Right, but you know that the White House and Democrats who support the bill have argued that the costs will decline over time because of things like preventative care being covered, and that over time it will pick up things that could be treated more quickly, and that will help some of the escalating costs. But you know, I do want to get to sort of the...
They are living in a dream world.
Okay.
When you require more people to be covered and you require that they be covered more thoroughly, it's going to cost more. This report also points out the obvious fact that the penalty for non-coverage in the health care law, in other words, if corporate America drops health care coverage, they save a lot of money. Southwest Airlines, to cover their employees, cost them $400 million under the law per year, but if they drop the coverage and pay the penalty, it only costs them $100 million.
No, that's true, and that's a compelling math that all companies across this country are dealing with right now, quite frankly. I want to ask you a little bit about the political implications of all of this. Obviously, we're in an election year. That comes as no surprise to anybody, and both sides want very much to make sure that this issue is front and center with voters, that it's on their minds, because, frankly, it won't be really affecting them until 2014. So is that part of this effort, to make sure that people sort of understand in your eyes what you believe the implications of this are, and that they're thinking about it when they step into the booth?
Well, I think Speaker Boehner and Energy Chairman Fred Upton and Subcommittee Chairman Cliff Stearns just want the American people to know the facts. And this report, you know, the minority Democrats, Mr. Waxman and Ms. DeGette, have put out an alternative interpretation of the facts, but the facts are as is stated in the report. If you cover more people and require the coverage to be more thorough, it's going to cost more. That's simple.
All right, Representative Joe Barton, with your side, thank you so much. Good to have you here today, sir.
Always my pleasure.